in today's day and age, in the landscape of college basketball, you have players that go into the portal, and you're kind of like scratching your head, like why?
Eric Reynolds II. Eric Reynolds II is a superstar.
You're having success. Your team is trending this way. Like what? Like why are you? I don't understand. Like explain to me why you're going into the portal.
Tried to ice it, and Reynolds is able to split.
Yeah, I just think it's the thing to do.
Pick to get the basketball in the hands of Reynolds. Reynolds from deep.
Right? I think it's the thing to do. You go in the portal because everybody else is going in the portal. And, to see what Coach Lange has done, to walk into the situation that he walked into, taking over for a legend, right? For a legend in St. Joe's basketball. That's not an easy thing to do because you always feel like you're chasing a ghost.
It was a decision that caused a great deal of anguish, and it was a very difficult one because of my utmost respect for Coach Phil Martelli.
St. Joseph's University is a private Jesuit institution located in West Philadelphia's Overbrook section. The school has a rich basketball tradition, one that propelled a small school in Philly into a household name in collegiate athletics. If you think St. Joe's, I'd imagine the same few things come up in your head.
When you look, for example, at St. Joe's, you look at that backcourt. Jameer Nelson, pound for pound, inch for inch. He may be like Sugar Ray Leonard was when he fought. The best in America.
Jameer Nelson, one of the best college basketball players of all time, who shared the backcourt with Delonte West. St. Joe's had a perfect season in 2003-04 season, making them the number one team in the nation. Perhaps you thought of their slogan, "The Hawk Will Never Die," which of course goes hand in hand with their mascot, who continuously flaps his wings without stopping throughout the entire game. Don't feel too bad, he gets a full scholarship for it. St. Joe's is also known for its participation in the Philadelphia Big Five, an informal competition that is considered to many the most unique and historic tradition throughout college sports. While St. Joe's has had some iconic coaches in the past, including the likes of Jim Lynam or Dr. Jack Ramsey, none was more iconic, more revered, nor a bigger piece of the fabric of what St. Joe's basketball is than Coach Phil Martelli.
Phil Martelli is a remarkable guy. He's an unbelievable coach, but he helps you grow into a man. Like, it's not all about basketball with him. Like, yes, that's a key opponent, but it's the stuff outside of basketball.
Well, I'm a huge Phil Martelli fan, and one of the reasons why is because he allowed me to grow into a young man. See, one thing that you got to realize that when you leave high school, boys basketball, you're going to whatever university, but you're going to a men's basketball team, and that means a lot. So I mean, he treated me like a man. I was allowed to voice my opinion and things of that nature. Like, Coach, I saw this. Even if he disagreed with me, he allowed me to grow. And it's not, so you have some coaches, it's like, just do what I tell you to do kind of thing. And I don't know. I don't do well in that, just run the play. And I'm like, well, no, hold on. Well, I saw this, or I was trying to do this. I was being aggressive on this play, and that's one of the things he allowed me to do, and others before me.
Martelli is a St. Joe's staple. You think St. Joe's, you think Phil Martelli. He brought the Hawks national relevance on multiple occasions and was similarly admired for his personality off the court, helping young men. He spent over 3 decades coaching at St. Joe's, assuming the head role for 24 of them. His Atlantic 10 record ranks second all-time in league history, trailing only Temple's John Chaney. He won 7 A-10 regular season titles and guided the Hawks to 7 A-10 tournament championships, with winning 4 titles. His accolades include National Coach of the Year in 2004, 4 Atlantic 10 Coach of the Year awards, and 4 Big 5 Coach of the Year awards. He made the postseason 16 times out of his 24 years, half of which were NCAA tournaments. After a 2016 March Madness run led by pro DeAndre Bembry, Martelli failed to lead the Hawks to a winning record 3 years in a row. He had failed for a glimpse to meet the St. Joe's standard that he himself had set. The idea that Martelli and St. Joe's would eventually part ways was one that was on the minds of many fans. Martelli was let go from St. Joe's after 3 decades from new athletic director Jill Bodenstein. The decision seemed abrupt, it seemed harsh, and it seemed to lack honor and respect to a guy who brought this program to new heights. Fans throughout Philadelphia were very upset. Despite knowing the time may be coming for Martelli here at St. Joe's, the fans felt blindsided.
The fans it was just too cold. Do you feel it was too cold the way they did it?
I think I've had to separate it, Angelo, in the decision and then the execution of the decision.
I've written a lot about it. I think it was handled about as poorly as a transition can be handled, and I put that on. I wrote that Mark Reed, who was the president, I gave him an F for it. I put it all on him and his board of trustees for how they handled it. I don't know that there would have been a good way to transition, to be honest with you. And I've written any number of times that there are no lifetime contracts for these coaches. And if St. Joe's decided it was time to move on from Phil Martelli, so be it. But trying to figure out, attempt to figure out a transition would have been helpful, because they did Billy Lange no favors having a transition that caused players and recruits to move on.
As Mike Jensen of the Inquirer points out, the transition from Phil Martelli to new head man Billy Lange was far from smooth. There was no pageantry, no collaboration, no recommendations, just a simple swap. In 2019, Billy Lange was named head coach of the St. Joseph's Hawks. Aside from running against the biggest icon in St. Joe's history, Jameer Nelson, who apparently tossed his hat into the ring, Lange seemed like the perfect fit. He's a Philly guy with stints as an assistant under Jay Wright at Villanova and as a player development specialist with the 76ers. He also brought 7 years of head coaching experience at Navy. However, it wasn't only the fans that were upset about the way Martelli's situation was handled. The players and the recruits who pledged their allegiance to St. Joe's because of Phil were too. St. Joe's lost nearly all of their contributors. Sophomore wing Charlie Brown decided it was time to take his talents to the NBA rather than undergo a rebuild. Freshman guard Jared Bynum transferred to Ed Cooley in Providence. Star point guard and 4-year Hawk Lamar Fresh Kimball headed to the ACC to join Louisville. And these are just the guys that were already on campus. Recruits pulled their commitments as they found out the legend Martelli was no longer running the show. Jameer Nelson Jr. was one of the first to decommit, perhaps for obvious reasons. Hakeem Hart, a Maryland commit who now finds himself across the street from St. Joe's at Villanova. Denver Nuggets star Bones Highland was even rumored to be joining the St. Joe's before joining VCU. The rebuild would have to be one of the biggest and most severe any coach would have to face. Lange was one of the first coaches to try and figure out how to deal with this carousel that now seems common in the NIL transfer portal era. As you could imagine, or maybe as you already know, Lange got off to a rocky start. With a roster swept clean, only a handful of scholarship players left on Hog Hill, and a disgruntled alumni base, Lange didn't have much. Much of the frustrations about the Martelli situation were, in my opinion, unfairly pointed at him. Regardless, though, winning cures all, and the reality was St. Joe's wasn't winning. The Hawks racked up 4 losing seasons with Lange as the captain, coming really nowhere near a tournament appearance or a shot at the A-10 title. Regardless of what fans think, the media thought, or what the external noise was, Lange seemed to have one thing. The guys who bought into his system and the culture he built displayed a ton of loyalty to the coach. Through struggles and growing pains, the players had Lange's back.
Coach Lange, honestly, he is such a good human that he made me want to be a better human. And when I messed up, because I did, he always had my back and used it as a learning experience. Whereas I think other people who I haven't had would reprimand me or, make me feel awful about myself. He was so patient and understanding, and, he's a really good guy, and we have a good relationship to this day.
Lange is building a new culture here at St. Joe's, and it's not just a coaching buzzword. The culture is proved by guys like Cameron Brown, a 5th-year player, or Eric Reynolds II, one of the most efficient scorers in the nation, coming back and not entering the portal.
To keep Reynolds and to keep Brown is a 100%, that is on Billy Lange, and that is a tribute to him and his culture and what he's creating there. in a situation that was extremely difficult for him to walk into, and he kept both those guys in a day and age when everybody's trying to leave.
Reynolds, he hit that from St. Joe's campus.
Clutch, got it blocked, got it back. Brown, an up fake, left wing three, hits it with
Miller using Hoffman. Switchability of Fleming. And Fleming says no.
Greer going to start it up again. Getting toward bailout time. Cam Brown with good D from Martini, hits the three! Are you kidding me?
Temple missed Stanford right where he made the previous shot. And descend, Fleming!
So the extended minutes for Chris Harrison and CJ Coleman. Simmons powers that down!
I did an interview earlier today. A lot of the questions was about the transfer portal. And, I just don't think that what it is for one school is necessarily going to be what it is for another school. And that's okay. It's what makes everyone different. I just believe at St. Joe's, we have to have continuity if we want anything that's sustainable. The ability to do things over and over again with a restart with personnel, I just don't think it aligns with our institution. And it doesn't align truly with like what we're trying to do culturally, both on and off the court. Someone else will have to do that here. That's not me. So to have good players be back is everything, not just to us on the court, but just to be an ambassador for our institution.
The Hawks are off to their best start by far in the Billy Lange era. They currently sit at 10-3, wrapping up the non-conference schedule, with key wins over crosstown juggernaut Villanova and undefeated Princeton. On most bracket projections, they sit right outside the bubble for an at-large bid to the tournament, with the cards in their hands come Atlantic 10 play. Lange's story, and this Hawks team story, is a lesson in patience. In a sport and a landscape where everything moves quickly, things take time to develop. For all the blame that was bestowed on the St. Joe's administration for this Martelli situation, I think some credit goes to them for having the vision, trusting the process, or as another Philly icon would say, having the longest view in the room. Like this video? Please subscribe for more college basketball content and mini breakdowns. Comment below what you'd like to see in this format.